Adamawa State, located in the northeastern Nigeria, with a catchment population of over 4 million people, is one among the states that have been ravaged by Boko Haram, the consequent effect of which has rendered many homeless and in abject poverty, thereby making women and children vulnerable to food security challenges. This menace, perhaps, is source of concern to Proact project, funded by European Union, implemented by Oxfam and Cruden in Adamawa State.
So our visit to the local governments that Proact has acted was very impressive based on the testimonies of women and farmers that were involved in the project. That is why at the moment we are really strategizing to see how the state government can take ownership and then start a project, continue from where Proact has stopped in the remaining local governments.
According to the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Agriculture, Adamawa State, Dr. Dishi Kobe, Proact project implemented by Oxfam and Cruden, supported by European Union, has been of tremendous assistance not only to the people, but to the state government.
Because of the progress we saw in the conduct of their activities, I've been part and parcel of the activities. They are training of our extension agents. You know, due to resources, states cannot train extension agents much. But Proact actually took the pain of training our extension agents about 3 times yearly. Presently, a training is going on our extension agents. That alone has built a very strong confidence from the state as regards to Oxfam.
This is because the Pro-Resilience project has relieved the burden of poverty alleviation and job creation through agricultural investment, farm inputs distribution, training of communities in modern methods of farming. Proact project as a pilot in Adamawa State was implemented in Fofore, Guyuk, Song, and Mubi South local government areas. The Pro-Resilience Action Project, Proact intervention, is aimed at improving food security and livelihoods of 40 rural communities of Adamawa State.
I see that as something very important. It's remarkable because not many projects can do this. They don't have the power of replicating themselves this quickly. It's also remarkable, to see that the project has generated more than €1 million in cash, to continue with the systemic change is pursuing for the population even after the end of the project. It's remarkable to have a project doing something like that from the replication standpoint. By the end of the project, what we're going to see is you're going to see some of the building blocks of the project have already been replicated for about 3 years, by the time the project closing.
In Bobini village of Guyuk local government area, beneficiaries laud the performance of Proact in the communities, especially in the area of provision of farm inputs, seedlings, and other supportive services. Labaga Ezekiel is one of the benefiting farmers of this project. He reveals the fact that even as a university graduate, he is able to establish himself in the business of farming, which Proact has helped to boost. Today, he is able to produce over 160 bags of rice per hectare.
Before the intervention of Proact, I have been into farming for 2 years before the coming of Cruden. But Cruden has changed my life. It has improved the quality of my activities in so many ways. Before it came into reality, I was not able to farm up to a hectare of land. But with the introduction of Cruden to the community, I'm able to farm more than a hectare of land. And why I'm able to do that is because Cruden gives me fertilizer. Cruden, I can access loan through Cruden, of which through that loan, I'm able to pay my workers in the farm. I'm able to use that money to buy some herbicide in order to improve the yield of my farm.
Considering the dynamic nature of social strata and social economic activities of many communities in the state, the project strategically through Village Savings and Loans Association (VSLAs) empowered 13,835 males as well as 18,821 females. This indicates that a total of 32,656 persons benefited through the formation of 1,500 groups. In addition, 1,050 VSLA formed in the local governments, replicating the Proact project.
With the coming of the Proact, things have changed. Proact project, we call it like a project of demonstrating possibilities. With the committed staff that we have in the field, and also experience, and also the support from the stakeholders, especially the government officials, and also the traditional rulers and then the community partners, were able to achieve a lot in the field. People that don't have access to agricultural input now can access fertilizer before the rainy season. For the farmer to start rainy farming activities, he wants to get this input timely. So in Proact, we did that, and this has resulted to increase in the production or in yield these farmers are actually harvesting from their farms.
Similarly, the project, through its unconditional cash transfer, reached 1,620 less privileged indigents, whereby 937 females and 683 males benefited.
I think the most important, that what I like the most, is the participatory approach. The community owns the program. And I think this is very important here in Nigeria. We need down-up approaches, because very often the communities are left alone because they need to find ways to sustain themselves, become more resilient. So, and little by little, we have addressed not only food insecurity, but we have managed to increase production. So this is what I call the Oxfam model. And what is very important is that food banks have been created for communities, and they can draw food from the food bank in the lean season when they are affected by a shock. For example, if they have to leave, there is a family member that passes away, and they cannot harvest, they can use that, and then they pay back. And I think this is a very, very good model. Another thing that we know that it happens very normally in Nigeria, especially for the small whole farmers, that they are the majority of the population. We should not forget that now we are on more than 100 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. Through cash for work, storage was provided for communities. It was one of the issues they had, that after harvest, grains were wasted. The little grain that they are producing, they were wasted. I had as well the opportunity to visit a farm school, and it was very nice. And an opportunity as well to remind the government that farm schools, they have to be organized and run by the extension workers. And of course, this is another issue in Nigeria, because we are not here. We cannot, as a donor, replace the government. We need to work with the government and our partners, but it's very important that the government responds to those needs, like the need to increase the number of extension workers.
The European Union funding is primarily for catalytic action to demonstrate possibilities that we can use the small pot of fund that we have to demonstrate, to test ideas. And then from the results that I imagine from these ideas, we would expect that these ideas will take root, and then we can expand the scope of possibilities to other communities, to other people, to other local governments.
As the project worked closely with the communities to strengthen participation and equity for a robust economic growth, members of households engaged is up to 1,871, among which 934 were males against 937 females through cash for work. Payments were made to members of communities associations for constructing grain banks, roads, toilets, and others, as agreed with community leaders to indirectly create alternative sources of income for the rural dwellers, which today, in turn, has helped many escape the pangs of hunger, as they are able to sustain their livelihoods without resorting to any negative strategy as a result of non-availability of food.
For me, I believe strongly that the community has a role to play in terms of sustainability. It's true that government can support. It's true that other NGOs can support. Yes, NGOs have done the foundation, have laid the foundation. I believe strongly that going on forward from here, we can work with the communities and insist to them that government is not giving money, but that they should sustain this project going forward within the community. Look, these VSLA groups that have been formed, they should not stop meeting at all. They should continue to meet. They should continue to contribute funds and buy shares among themselves and give loans to themselves, and eventually they will grow. And then we have moved on from the VSLA to the VSLF, which is the VSLF Federation. I believe also that if we monitor these groups well and we build their capacity in leadership, in the areas of how sustainability can be achieved, I think to a large extent we will do well to ensure sustainability. Again, we can say, okay, from time to time, perhaps we can link them up with other organizations so that they can benefit from other capacity building, other even sources of funding that can also support them. I believe also that will ensure sustainability.
Jangjare, Mbeware community in Ribadu district. The VSLA formation has given rise to Madam Hadiza Omar access to a milling and grinding machine, and many in other communities on loan by Proact at the recommendation of her group member. Madam Hadiza, who spoke in Fufulde, was overwhelmed with gratitude for what Proact, Oxfam and Cruden, with support from European Union, have done to them.
Mi yetti Allah, mi yetti himɓe ungiya bo, mi yetti mo kafani amin waddi ungiya ɗo, ungiya ihu Oxfam Kurdan, alhamdulillahi.
According to her, today her children go to school that will transform them into better citizens of the country. In this community, every grinding work had to be taken to Fufore, which is a long distance and costly. Today, everybody is relieved, and above all, some people have secured employment operating the machine and taking a monthly payment, she said.
Alhamdulillah, komi waddi inji ɗo bo mi wala masala be himɓe wuro.
Malam Salihu Usman is a beneficiary of Cash for Work scheme of the Proact project in Ganjare village. He says the multiplier effect of the project intervention was something least expected, which has come as a surprise.
Don da farko mu ne muka gina wannan ɗaki na rumbun ajiye abinci. Sa'an nan kuma a cikin ayyukan da muka yi an riga an ba mu kuɗi da farko.
He said he was part of the team that built the grain bank in the village and the other construction works, and his payment was instant. Through this payment, he was able to now live a better life. Before now, he never knew something like this could ever happen in his village. He thereby lauded the performance of Proact, Cruden, in mobilizing them. Agriculture, prior to intervention by Proact project in ADAMAWA, was a mere gamble and a traditional practice by farmers using traditional methods to have meals on the table with the hope of seeing as to what will happen next. With the intervention by EU Proact project implemented by Cruden and Oxfam, established 1,451 people to the extent that 937 females and 514 males were trained on best agronomic practices through Farmers Training Field School. Communities members are now educated and trained in modern agricultural practices on weekly basis. Zwatoma Bagarmi is the Director, Extension Services of ADAMAWA Agricultural Development Program. He testifies that Proact resuscitated the services of the extension workers by re-engaging and retraining them to handle the agricultural sector in the rural communities.
Farmers were formed into groups, and they were being trained every meeting. They made discoveries on the farm, they get more knowledge, their capacity has been built, they have knowledge in production activities. In addition, apart from training the extension agents in the good agricultural practices, few of the extension agents, 4 of them, have been trained overseas. We can say overseas because they have been sent to Kenya to also receive trainings on good agricultural practices and on good extension services, which they voluntarily do that, and it has improved our knowledge and it also improved our performance in delivering extension services to our farmers in the state.
Malam Ardo, a member of VSLA Group who is into rice farming, happily display what the project has done for him.
Oxfam da EU da Kurdu sun zo sun dan koya mana dabaru yadda za mu yi noma, kuma sun kawo mana tallafin taki da kuma wasu abubuwa da yawa har da kayan injuna na yin bayi na.
He says the training by Proact boosted their harvest from 20 bags to over 80 bags. In addition, farm inputs as fertilizer and agrochemical are made available at low costs and payable on loan in 2 installments after harvest. We are so grateful to Oxfam, Cruden, for the intervention that have changed our lives, he said.
Kuma mu biya cikin a hankali wani lokaci sai ka cire gonanka gaba ɗaya ka sayar amfanin ka biya kuɗin din, kaga mun samu amfani sosai a wajen.
The improvement in production and outcome per household in communities has led to drastic increase in participation and engagement of 16,822 people with interest in modern and appropriate agricultural practice, with 10,352 males and 6,470 females reached. As a strategy to ensuring effective, efficient, and sustainable utilization of knowledge acquired led to the training of 45 extension workers trained, whereby 37 are males, while 8 are females.
You count the leaves, the number of leaves as through the various stages of growth of the plant. You count the number of leaves.
In 2018, Proact project implemented by Oxfam and Cruden in its quest to strengthen resilience and food security gave food loan of millet, rice, maize, and sorghum to communities worth 746,845.20 kilograms, at which 398,387 kilograms were recovered, with 2,088 men and 2,064 females benefiting. Similarly, in 2019, additional food commodities of rice, maize, millets, and sorghum were given to 1,961 females, as well as 1,754 males accessed the food loan, with a total of 333,913.5 kilograms was distributed and 146,520 kilograms recovered. Dr. Mary Paninga is the chairman, Adamawa State Planning Commission. She posits that the name of Proact, all its funding partners, European Union, and implementing partners such as Oxfam and Cruden in Adamawa State, and indeed the nation, is written in gold. It cannot be forgotten in a hurry, but stands the test of time.
Proact in Adamawa State is a name that's written on gold, a project whose impact is like written on gold that cannot be forgotten. Why? Because of the intervention Proact has brought to Adamawa State in tackling hunger and empowering the locals, the communities, through agric, business, and the like. The State Planning Commission, which is the entry window point of all donor partners, holds its head high in regards to Proact in Adamawa State, because we have seen, we have recorded, and have made sure that we document what the impact of this particular program and project and the partners. One good thing about their programs is that they got us set for sustainability in the areas they intervened.
Mrs. Lydia Ezekiel is the grain bank keeper in Mada village and has all 3 grain banks full of grains and still counting. She and her group members are full of gratitude to Oxfam, Cruden, and European Union.
Wannan dawon da Oxfam suka tallafe mu da shi, yanzu ana kan dawo mana da shi. Za mu irga su ɗaya bayan ɗaya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30 daidai.
Thank you, EU, Oxfam, Cruden, and Proact.
The unfortunate outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 led to more demand for food among member communities, whereby 187,300 kilograms was given to 835 males and 1,038 to females, and 146,520 kilograms recovered, among which are males and females from benefiting communities. Mama Abalis Thomas is also known in local parlance as Mama Proact because of her close link with the project since inception in Banjaram community. She was one of the first farmers trained in the area and has been a member of several committees of the community. At present, she is in charge of the grain bank in Banjaram. She says they have over 300 of 100 kilograms bags of grains in stores and still counting.
Buhunan da aka kawo mana dama ba su kai ko ina ba, don ba su yi yawa ba. Amma zuwa na biye, tun da muna cin gaba ana karɓa a je a ci a yi noma da shi domin karancin abinci a gidajenmu. Idan aka karba an ci bayan wani shekara sai a nome a sake dawo da shi mu aji. So a dalilin haka a yanzu muna da sama da buhuna 300 yanzu a aje. Muna kai har yanzu muna kan karba. A ta dalilin haka muna cewa Proact mun gode musu da tallafin da suka kawo mana.
Looking at the past experience I had and the little time I've worked with Proact, I know that women have been empowered in so many areas such that women testified that they no longer ask for money from their husbands as they used to ask for Maggi, salt, and whatever. They are well empowered that they feed the family, they take care of their children and pay their school fees. I can say that women have improved their economic standard greatly.
Livestock transfer component involves transferring of goats and chickens to frontline beneficiaries, in which beneficiaries affirmed that the Proact field officer made available the livestock to the beneficiaries and were given to the vulnerable households that had earlier been identified through remuneration process where the poorest of the poor were registered. Malam Ezekiel Sanda is a beneficiary of the livestock transfer component of the intervention by Proact. He had an initial transfer of goat which produced a kid that he handed over to his downliner, who is the next beneficiary attached to him. Yet, today, he has about 10 goats in his pen. He expresses gratitude to EU Oxfam and Cruden for the wonderful project.
Na ji daɗin tallafi na Proact wanda suka bani akuya gashi a hannuna. Akuyan ta haifi 'ya'ya biyu, na ɗauki guda ɗayan na ba wanda aka haɗa mu. A takaice na ci moriyan wannan shiri da suka mini sosai, kuma yanzu haka ina da awaki guda 4. Duka abin da awakin suka haifa da wanda na bawa sun haifi awaki sun kai 10. A gaskiya na ji daɗin wannan tallafi da na samu daga wurin Proact. Na gode.
Farida Shuaibu has cows and sheep, which she fattens and sells. She uses the proceeds to take care of her family needs, as well as assist her husband.
Gaskiya kungiya ta taimake mu mata da yawa a garin Gela. Don mata sun farfado sosai ba kaɗan ba. Da damuwan da sai ka je ka roki mai gida yi maka, yanzu mu mata mu muke yi makanmu da kanmu har ma mu taimaka ma yaranmu da shi.
In the same vein, the project distributed livestock directly to each community partners, in which the project gave out 1 she-goat each to 3,425 beneficiaries and 304 2 he-goats as well. 3,425 hens and 3,425 cocks are the unit of 10 chickens per beneficiary of 1,798 females alongside 1,627 males. Hajia is a member of Kautal Hore who benefited from the Proact intervention as well. She was emotional in her commendations of Oxfam and Cruden on how the organizations helped to change their lives.
To na zo na kwashi adashen nan na farko ina zuba 200 na samu 20,000. Sai na sayi 'yan kaji na da agwagi na ina dan kiwatawa har Allah ya sa na zo suka girma na sayar. Da na sayar sai na hada da wannan kudin kungiyan da wannan kudin kaji da agwagin. Na samu na sayi dan maraki. Na gode wa kungiyar Kautal Hore da Oxfam da EU da Kuroda.
Another person who also counted his blessings brought about by Proact is Alhaji Saidu Usman Gela. He received his share out of the marijuana VSLA contribution and savings, which he used to purchase cows for fattening.
I got this money, we share that money, I go and buy the cattle at the market. So this is the cattle. My economy has increased.
After a successful year of distribution to the first set of recipients, 2,200 males and females in continuity F1 set of generation was transferred to the second set of 950 females and 1,250 males. This approach to empowerment has indeed contributed positively to the socio-economic well-being of the rural poor. In Gulantabal community of Song local government, the story is slightly different, but still that of a success and gratitude. Kautal Hore is a local community women development association whose members benefited tremendously from Proact intervention through grain loans, animals and chicken assistance. Presently, the association has established an Islamia school through personal VSLA contribution of its members, and they collectively supported each other. This development has impressed the village head of the area, who has donated a piece of land for the construction of a permanent site for the Islamia school.
I'm very impressed, first of all, because the feedback we get from the government and the local authorities is very positive. Many communities have been able to double their production, and this has been selling the markets in the communities. Today we saw the women that they were producing soap, and for me it was very interesting to hear that now they don't want to sell it in the community anymore, but they want to go to the LGA market. And what I like very, very much, and I think, is that this kind of projects brings communities together from different religions, from different areas, and I'm really very, very happy. And I think as well, rural development is the income generating activity from this community. So the more we can help them, the better.
Malam is a teacher with the Islamia school. He says the establishment of the school has created opportunity for him to be employed and have consequently changed his standard of living. These children are now excited to be in school and ready to learn both Islamia and other secular syllables and skills. Mama Pamdizika is a recipient of livestock transfer component of the intervention. Her story is that before now, she has never owned an animal, not to talk of one that could multiply in her pen.
Nanyim nanyo jijuri eje nyala ka chepurele inji nanji nanyim ar nyuama din yibgo ka yiwayidi ka joka gomdrawa ka nangro jijue anyim dege ajza tili tirnyine awurzaha na gobrabo na to ndin takabarka yala ka den tirdin kabra ndeke na ko gomne dim chibaha.
In addition, climate change adoption and mitigation measure was another source of concern. The intervention by Proact was able to integrate planning measure into community development plan during the years of implementation in 2018 and 2019. Assorted tree seedlings cumulatively were distributed to 552,755 to 9,610 females and 9,657 males, respectively. The success story of Oxfam and its partners is authenticated by beneficiaries from various points and locations in Song local government area. These farmers from Lainde Galamba have great testimonies of their experience with Proact. There are peasant farmers whose lives have been transformed by the Proact intervention. This includes over 11,000 receiving support of tree seedlings, totaling 412,369, which include mango, citrus, guava, eucalyptus, and moringa varieties, which was distributed to beneficiaries comprising of VSLAs and non-VSLA, with each household receiving an average of 27 tree seedlings of 5 different varieties.
A cikin hikimomi na noman zamani da Osfan ta koya mana, ni na ɗauki samfari na noman kankana ne.
Similarly, Muhammad Garba, Sarkin Noma, also revealed that his life is now more comfortable with the coming of Proact intervention into his life and the introduction of modern methods of farming. He was thankful for the gesture.
Bayan wannan ba abin da za mu cewa Osfan sai godiya sai addu'a. Allah ya taimake su akan abubuwan da suke taimakawa talakawa.
One of the major challenges faced by ADAMAWA farmers was access to farm inputs as fertilizer. Proact project, in line with its commitment to giving hope to the rural farmers, procured and distributed 41,825 bags of 50 kilogram of NPK and 3,288 50 kilogram of urea quality fertilizer worth millions of naira to 16,361 farmers.
Well, practically, I have witnessed that those people who do normally have 1 bag or 2 bags, which will not sustain them for the whole year. This program has made them to at least get a lot of produce that they feed their families for the whole year and sell some of the produce to prepare back, the cost of what they have collected from this program. So it's a win-win situation, and definitely they have a lot of their life have been improved. When you have enough food in the house, you are a big man. So virtually, and you clothe their children, you take them to school, all because of this program. The challenges they used to have in trying to maintain themselves, the family, and the education of their children is no more, because of this program. So we really appreciate that program, and our community is very grateful, honestly. We cannot thank you enough.
Malam said he ventured into farming melon to see how he would move forward. And with the help of Oxfam and Cruden, his story is that of serious and total transformation. His former financial situation is now enormously improved and can now pay his bills without stress. He thanked the Proact and its implementing partners, Oxfam and Cruden. He thereby enjoined the Song Local Government Council and, indeed, the ADAMAWA State Government and the committees to take ownership of the project.
Iyalina sun tabbatar da cewa shiga na Osfan ya yi amfani, zuwa Osfan kuma ya yi amfani a gare mu domin abin da nake yi musu yanzu da ba na iya shi.
As food production is on the increase due to emerging knowledge of agricultural best practice impacted by the project and program in the community, storage and control of post-harvest losses is an area of focus. The project built grain banks precisely 226 locations in communities of the 4 pilot local government areas. Malam Bello Alim is the man in charge of the grain bank in Ngarao, and he was excited about the project for the fact that it reduced the incidences of hunger and poverty among his people.
An ba mu ne wannan na kanmu, sto ina ya zama namu ne, in mun gera namu ne, in mun bata namu ne, an ba mu buhu.
He said that the system has greatly supported them in terms of loans of grains in the farming season. We take feedback in a cyclical order. This unprecedented increase in yield and quality of agricultural commodities by the beneficiaries of Proact project implemented by Oxfam and Cruden in Adamawa State therefore called for critical thinking to create market linkages with off-takers such as Guinness Nigeria, where in 2018, 28,102 kilogram and 26,543.16 kilograms of sorghum was bought from Guyuk local government, resulting in the empowerment of 32 females and 144 project beneficiaries, respectively. Olumide Ojo, Resilience and Private Sector Engagements Program Manager. He says Proact project has impacted tremendously on the agricultural productivity of the people in the state because farmers are now more knowledgeable in modern methods of farming.
The impact of all of these has been a tremendous increase in productivity. The level of productivity has risen from about 34% when we came in to over 153%, especially looking at value chain, commodity value chain like rice, sorghum, and maize. So, I mean, the productivity has tremendously increased. Also, farmers have become more knowledgeable about agricultural practice. And now what we have in rural community is that we now have farmers who are extensionists by themselves. So they are taking the knowledge from their own location, from their communities and villages to neighboring communities and villages. So it means that knowledge is spreading, you know, within the rural areas. And the idea of producing for market so that you can benefit from the opportunities in the market is also getting deepened.
Fuda James's story is slightly unique because the upliftment by Proact has changed the entire outlook of their house. She is a member of Kaptama VSLA and involved in farming as well. The transformation is so drastic and the family is happier today.
Even the house, you see it there, because I sell the half and my husband bring the half, we combine it and we build the house with it. And I buy freezer with the savings. I will saving it in our saving long association. I buy freezer with it and I buy swim machine with it. So I want to thank Cruden, EU and Oxfam because the work they have bring it to us.
Rabiu Hamidu is a member of Mitriking Village Savings and Loan Association VSLA in Mawa village of Gude community. He is one of the beneficiaries of Proact project, both farming skills training and has milling and dehusking machine given to him by Proact.
EU, Oxfam and Cruden assist us. Before, I am zero level. Even what to eat to me is problem. So close to my parents that depend on me. They assist us with fertilizer to produce food crops to ourselves. By then, I am producing a food that is not up to what I will eat me alone, talk less of my parents that depends on me. With that now, I am now producing a food crops that not less than 30 bags to satisfy myself and satisfy my parents' needs and even my neighbors. Now from zero level, now I become a multi-millionaire in food production. So, and apart of that, now EU Oxfam provide machine for us. That milling machine, it works with 2 people. When the work is many, you will get 3 employers a day. And this one, we are using 2. So you know now, by zero now I have a minimum of 5 employees under me.
Furthermore, the project found it pertinent to strengthen the food value chain through the provision of grinding, milling and dehusking machines to 40 people, whereby 11 females and 29 males benefited. Similarly, 5,089 members of VSLAs in respective benefiting communities were trained in various income-generating activities such as soap making, hand sanitizer, Vaseline, and small businesses comprising of 2,548 females and 2,541 males. Falaye Usman, Oxfam Governance and Influencing Coordinator, Proact Project. He says a lot of mobilization has been going on, especially amongst government policy key actors. As a result, there has been a great improvement in budget allocations to agricultural sector.
With the tight support and collaboration with government officials, we've been able to deliver the Open Government Partnership for ADAMAWA State. We've also been able to promote a new way of inclusive budget system through the Community Development Plan. Interestingly, at the local government level, we're currently leading the first of its kind a social investment and empowerment program policy at the local level, which gives the local government an idea on what to do or how to do or what to exactly engage communities on in terms of poverty eradication and social protection intervention.
Mr. Moses Alago is a field officer of Proact in Ribadu and have facilitated the formation and mobilization of VSLA, which has greatly impacted on many women.
Here we are in Ribado community of Fofore local government, standing amazed at my Alforma VSLA group. We're here to observe their weekly VSLA service. As you can see, they're all set and ready to begin their service.
Speed 1 is the May Alfarma group. Aisha Abubakar is the chairperson of May Alfarma group. She presides over the operation of the group, which contributes and shares out at the end of the year.
Da aka zo aka yi share out, kudin da bai da sosai kam, 578 na farkon share out dinmu. Na biyun kuma mun samu kudi sosai sabili da mun ji dadin kuma mun san dadin kungiyan yanzu. Mun koma share dinmu 200 har zuwa ma yanzu kam muna ta tunani mun sake fasawa yanzu za mu koma ko 500 don me yasa muna da sana'a. Mun samu kanmu, mun waye kanmu yanzu akwai Oxfam muna karɓar lence, muna sana'a da shi, kuma yanzu har muna da jarin kanmu. Kowace mace a nan tana da jari akalla 20,000 kam ba zai gagare ta ba jarin kanta. Ina ta same shi a dalilin Oxfam. Ko?
In addition to this, the systematic collaboration with key actors of the project, 811 village agents were trained, which attracted 533 males as well as 278 females to continue farming and supervising VSLAs, whereby bicycles were provided to each mobility challenges in the communities. Mr. Damien Matthew is the Proact Desk Officer in the Ministry for Local Government Affairs, in charge of advising government, especially local governments, on vital issues of governance.
They started by building our capacities and building the capacities of even the rural dwellers, those that are going to benefit from the project. They build their capacity in producing their CDPs. They build the capacity of the government actors, those working in the local government areas as the community development officers and the directors of budget. They've started producing their CDPs, which is a very good one.
Over the years of implementation, the project has successfully created a momentum for vulnerable people to transit progressively out of poverty and hopelessness to a position of active economic existence in which they can be in control of those issues affecting them.
The community development plan was developed by community members, where Cruden and Oxfam, with funding support from the European Union, have trained community members, CSOs, and government officials alike, so that communities will be able to come up with their specific needs based on context through the use of community development plan templates. And we have achieved a lot of success in that regard because communities' capacity have been built. They were able to filter their basic needs in terms of agriculture, education, infrastructure, water, and so on and so forth, using the templates.
They enlighten us so many things, what we're supposed to do in our community. So first of all, I gather my community, I enlighten them on what I heard, how we can do to achieve so many things. So they accept it. Then we said, what is our need among this, what we're supposed to do? But they agree we should, first of all, let us start with the roads, because we don't have a good road.
Another critical component of the project is the sustainability on exploration of the Oxfam and Cruden intervention in the area. In this regard, Guyuk Local Government Council, as well as other local government councils, have put in place strong committees known as the Community Development Management Committees, CDMC, to manage and to ensure continuity of the program in various villages.
I was appointed as the chairman of the CDMC so that we will sustain the program. That is, the community is now having courage to improve contributions.
Baba Amnadungus is the village head of Banjaram, who has kept track of developments in the Proact for long. He says initially there were skepticisms from the people concerning the authenticity of the project, but today the story has changed.
We have over 90% of recovery of the food loan. That is very, very encouraging. I cannot say it's 100% because it is not, but definitely over 90% of the loan we take comes back, so that others will also gain from it. This aspect has also shown the impact of what Oxfam is all about in our village here in Banjaram. I think I will always enjoy to belong to this kind of program that will always encourage people to live together peacefully. You have a source of money, you have a source of food, you are comfortable. You are comfortable. That has made us feel enhanced in our life.
Consequently, the dramatic impact and achievements of Proact project in improving livelihood of many communities became a site of attraction to 7 additional local government areas in the state, thereby adopting the replication of same Proact initiatives in 50 rural communities. These communities are found in Numan, Mayobelwa, Gombe, Hong, and Maiha, just to mention but a few. Over 26,250 people from 1,050 VSLA groups made up of 11,050 males and 15,200 females reached.
The progress that we see in our people, sincerely speaking, I cannot mention it. Because some of them were into farming, some of them were into rearing of animals. So as you are rounding up this program, you are not rounding up this program in my own local government. Because my own local government, this program is a continued program to them. Because you have impacted a lot in my community.
The executive chairman of the various local government councils described the Pro-Resilience project as the most transparent, impactful, and accountable intervention ever recorded in Adamawa State. Hence, urged other community representatives to key into the Proact project for improved livelihood, for economic growth and development.
As we have found in our local government, poverty have taken its square root already. They have brought a lot of assistance. Example, the fertilizer, about 3 trailers, so far so good, that are on ground, and we have distributed to 10 wards in my local government. And of such, we still have water pump, about 50 water pump, in which we have distributed to various places for those that forms within the category of the groups of the Proact. Honestly, what we did, I and my council, we were able to give 10% of the total budget of 2021 so that the Proact will be sustained.
In Kwadadai village, we were on hand to witness the session of a VSLA cash box in operation. The association is Dulchunel Nihama. After the introduction by the Community Mobilization Field Officer, Mr. Moses Dungi Sebastian, Mr. Ebzam Nyimtarila, their spokesperson, took charge of the proceedings. He also gave a brief of their gains so far.
This group is known as Dulchunele group. The meaning of Dulchunele means that is coming together in order to join hands together. The group is in their 4th cycle. They have done up to 3 share outs. That shows that this is an old group. Let's see them on how they will perform in their meeting.
Number shot there, that's a Hanu beer. Number shot view. Shot beer, ya say Hanu uku. Number shot bakwai ta say Hanu view.
Number shot. If there is poverty in the house, you know there is problem. You can see quarrel. Women are fighting with their husbands just because of poverty. But as of now, things are getting normal.
Musamman mu mata. Dama muna zama kawai ba mu da sana'an yi, amma kungiyar nan da zuwan shi sai sa mu mun tashi. Za ga yanzu duk mace da take cikin wannan kungiyar tana sayar da ababe da yawa, ga su kifi, su kayan kulle-kulle, muna iya sayarwa. Har yanzu ma ya sa mu ma yanzu an samu matan da suna cikin mu har sun sayi kekunan dinki a dalilin wannan kungiyar di. Ku sai ko mu ce muku mun gode. Musamman EU, Kurudan, Oxfam.
Finally, there is no doubt that the expansion, adoption, and replication of the project to additional local governments is a sign of successful implementation and the attainment of the project's set goals and objectives, and also speaks of the fact that sustainability is ensured by local government key actors in Adamawa State.
Thank you, EU, Oxfam,